Good evening, everybody. Welcome to North Shore 9 Live. I am one of your hosts, Jim Rosati. With me, as always, every Thursday night is Tyler. Tyler, how you doing?
What's up, Jimbo Fisher?
It's going pretty good here. And then lurking in the shadows is our producer, Donardo. Donardo, how's it going, man?
You know me. It's going pretty well. How you doing, Jim? Tyler?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm doing great. We got football on tonight. I got college football tomorrow night. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Doing good, doing great.
Doing good, doing great. I'm also coming off a fresh win of Mount Rushmore of childhood crushes last week. I think I smoked both you guys, by the way.
All right. To be fair, you were in the sweet spot. Like, mine were a little too young for most of the viewers. Donardo's were a little too old. Jim had the perfect age range.
It's just an excuse. Sounds like an excuse to me.
Donardo, am I wrong in saying that he could have taken some of mine and some of yours? We couldn't do that to each other.
Yeah. I also just want to say I want to recount. I don't really trust those numbers. So, because I don't believe them. That's clearly fake news. There's no way you won. I'm sorry. I have some beef. I won that. All the comments said, I don't care what the votes say, Donardo won. So, I don't believe it's real.
You know what it is? I've got the silent majority. That's what it is.
That's what it is? I believe it. I believe it.
You know what? I knew I was going to lose, so I'm not even complaining.
I knew you were going to lose too.
That was not my week.
Little foreshadowing. That's kind of how I feel this week. But all right.
Really happy that Donardo picked that category.
Yeah, right. All right. So this week, kind of sticking to the theme, we are doing Mount Rushmore of sports movies. Before we get into our list, before we figure out draft order.
Wait, real quick before we get into that, did everyone else remember the part where we're doing 3 separate categories for we have basketball, football, baseball?
4 separate categories.
And miscellaneous.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to get into the rules here in a little bit.
Just...
Before we get into that, though, Donardo was going to read something quick from our sponsor. We're legit. We're like a real thing now. We got sponsors. So, Donardo, take it away.
We are a real thing now. Yeah, so support from North Shore 9 is brought to you by Manscaped. who's the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. So Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. The Manscaped engineering team has perfected the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created and just released the new improved Lawnmower 3.0. The third-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents. When I tell you this is premium, I mean premium. The battery will last up to 90 minutes, so you can take a longer shave. The waterproof technology allows you to groom in the shower. One of the coolest features is the LED light, which illuminates grooming areas for a closer and more precise trimming. They've also upgraded a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology. And let's not forget the charging stand. Show your mower off loud and proud because this intelligent design stand is convenient charging dock powered by USB. If you're listening to me speak right now, I want you to experience it firsthand for yourself. Let's get that bush and tush clean. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code NS9 at manscaped.com. For your testies, they're besties. So yes, everyone listening right now, there's the code. I got one. Jim and Tyler, I believe they're coming. They're on the way. I did use it tonight, I will say. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It's got a nice little firm, easy grip on it. It's nice to hold. But yeah, so go check them out, manscaped.com. Use code NS9 for your 20% off.
Happy wife, happy life, Donardo.
That's right.
There you go. I can't wait to try it out. All right, so getting into the Mount Rushmore again. So we're gonna do sports movies this week. Sports movies. Everybody's got to do one category too. So we're doing a baseball category. We're doing a football category. We're doing basketball, and then we're doing miscellaneous. We were talking about doing hockey, but then we were like, how many hockey movies really are there? So that fourth category is going to kind of be all encompassing all other sports. So how do we want to do this? Do we want to do this where like we're all picking the same category, or are we gonna?
Oh no, you got to have some strategy going into this.
Okay, all right, I'm good with that.
Some of the categories are a little slimmer than the others.
You're right. You're right.
Choose wisely.
Okay, I'm good with that. So I guess we've got to go.
Can't wait till Donardo chooses. Like,
I guess are we gonna bring out the wheel? We're gonna bring out the wheel, Donardo. Figure out who's going first.
Oh yes, we do have to do that.
Donardo, just get Blades of Glory picked for you, and we'll move on.
Don't, man. Why do you gotta give out my stuff? All right. So where's the wheel? Here we go, fellas. So I guess for the number one overall draft pick, let's spin this beauty. 1-1 goes to Tyler, who probably does not need the number one overall pick. All right. This wheel might actually show and tell us who's going to be 1, 2, and 3 this week. All right, Tyler's number one for the second overall pick. Ooh, I needed that. It goes to me. I'm gonna waste it anyways. This is the perfect Miami Dolphins, right. High selection right here, and Jim's third. So,
okay, I'm good with that. So, Tyler, leading off.
So I get to start. So, like I said earlier, we're a little slim on some categories. I think baseball is very deep. I think there's a lot of sleepers in football. I found basketball to be a little bit tough. So 1-1, I'm going Hoosiers. Taking Hoosiers off the board.
That was my first basketball pick.
Yeah, I think basketball, there's like one or two. There's a 1A and 1B with basketball, I think. And then there's a big drop-off.
I would agree with you on exactly that assessment.
So that's why I'm going basketball, number one.
Good pick.
Also, I'm going old school. That way I can, get Donardo's crowd. I'm taking his votes.
Take my votes. Yeah, I got to say that's a very, very solid pick. Gene Hackman, which I forget who and what I was listening to. Maybe it was Joey Bag of Donuts. I think it was a podcast, but someone mentioned that Gene Hackman is 90 years old. When did that happen? I mean, I get like it makes
That's
sense.
an old
I
movie.
mean, yeah, that makes pretty good sense.
But it's like, wow, I don't know. Hearing it, there's like a shock factor there.
Movie is pretty old.
Right.
But it's one of those movies that holds up.
It definitely does. And with that said, I got to take it off my list. I mean, that shows you where that stood for me. All right. So I guess I'm up.
You are up.
I'm so unprepared for this. Like completely. Which again is why I'm going to lose.
Have them on top of the head.
If I'm going to go, you know what? Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I feel like I can pick pretty deep for basketball. For baseball, I think I'm comfortable with a lot of them. With football, that's where it's rough for me. I guess to preference myself, this is why I think this week's going to be hard for me. I didn't really watch a whole lot of like sports movies growing up. You know, I wasn't, not probably like most people. I'll put that. It's not like I didn't watch any of them, obviously. But it was like all like the kids' movies and such I definitely saw. And then like some a bit through like my teens. But football was probably one I saw least of. So I'm going to go with my second overall pick. Again, this is where I'm blowing it. But I am going to go with... I'm still undecided. I'm going to go with The Blind Side.
What a terrible pick.
I told you it's going to be bad.
Awful pick.
What?
Awful.
And it's all fake,
Wasn't even on my list.
No, that didn't even. That's not on my big board.
Not on my list.
That was a complete waste, then, wasn't it? Oh man,
that was a waste.
Yeah,
that's
about number.
I didn't think it was going to be that bad. All right, well,
is it top 5? I don't think it's top 10 for me.
It might be top 10 football for me, but
I'd have to write them down.
I'd have to write them down.
Man,
it's not the football movie I think of.
That's just a bad pick. I'm sorry.
That's a reach.
There's really no other way to say it.
Terrible strategy.
You took Darius Hayward Bay in the first round.
All speed, except the antithesis of speed, based on this movie. Okay, all right. Well, it was a blown pick. It's a movie I enjoyed.
That's tough.
All right,
I've watched it more than once.
So I get back to back here. I'm gonna go. I feel like I agree that baseball is deep, but I do think there is like a clear cut number one, and I'm gonna go with that. And I'm gonna go with Major League.
Oh yeah,
not on my board.
I need to write these down.
Going with Major League.
Not on my board.
It's interesting. I love that movie. It's like Cleveland. A perfect mix of actual baseball, and then it's just a very funny movie.
It's about Cleveland.
I guess that makes sense for you, yeah.
Not on my board.
So Major League, Major League is my baseball movie. So
another very solid pick. That's solid. I'm so mad.
No, it's baseball.
I'm so mad. I could have at least tried.
Yeah, the blind side stuff.
And since DiNardo went with that terrible football pick, I'm gonna wait around to go football. I'm not gonna go. I'm taking that strategy. I don't need to take football now. So I'm gonna go basketball, and I'm actually going with. I noticed the preview picture when we put this up here. I'm going Space Jam. Going Space Jam for basketball.
Wow.
So was that the 1B that you were thinking of when I said 1A and 1B?
That was my 1B. Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I mean, it would have. It's on my board. I think there's one more in there, but I know there's a few more in there. But Space Jam has a very, very special place in my heart.
I've got a couple on there. I mean, yeah, it's how can you not love Space Jam? I mean, it came out, and when Jordan was just, out of this world, and it's a good movie.
Oh, I see what you did there, even though you didn't do it.
I like the pick.
Jordan was out of this world.
He was out of this world. So there we go. So Major League and Space Jam 1, 2 for me.
Cool. I can't hate on those either. I mean, Major League was very, very solid. Space Jam also was solid, but I'll tell you what, It might not be as egregious a pick as Blindside, especially now in retrospect. I'm really kind of pissed off. I should have played it safe. I was risky too. There was another. I'm not going to say it now because it's up for running. But Space Jam doesn't actually. I like the movie, but it probably doesn't make my top 5. It'd be in top 10 for me. So I'm just going to go out there. I guess I'm going to go. What do I want to do here? I don't know. This is terrible. This is like me in every fantasy football draft right now. I'm the guy that takes up the entire time limit, and this is how I feel right now because I'm just not prepared. Okay. Let's do it. I gotta redeem myself. I think this is gonna be a way I can do it. I'm gonna stick with baseball. I'm gonna maybe pander a little bit. I mean, I do enjoy the movie, but I think this is a solid lock since Major League is taken. I'm going to go with Bull Durham.
That was my number 2 baseball movie.
I'm going to be honest, it's a good pick because I've been back and forth on my. All right, so 2 baseball picks are gone. So I have no reason to take a baseball movie right now.
True.
See, strategy here, Donardo. Maybe don't take The Blind Side. Number 2 overall.
Maybe that's why I like it, because I'm so blinded by good strategy.
No, Bull Durham is very good.
Bull Durham's a good pick. That almost redeems you for your terrible first pick.
Well, actually, I have to be careful because miscellaneous. Okay. Now I got to rethink that.
Why?
Someone can come back around and take a baseball pick in miscellaneous.
Wait. I thought miscellaneous was anything other than, it had to be other sport. Whatever sport, but anything outside of baseball, football, and basketball.
That's what I took it as.
Okay. We can take it as that then. I'm good.
Okay.
Good. Thank you for clarifying that before I pick.
Of course. Get your strategy up, Tyler.
All right. Well, then.
Learn your own rules to your own game.
I need a football and I guess a miscellaneous here. So miscellaneous. You know what? I'm going to get my American Pride on. I'm going to Miracle.
Okay.
I'm taking Miracle with my miscellaneous. There's another one I really probably should have taken, but
good movie. Good movie. Can't complain about that one.
I gotta get my American Pride in. And then football. I'm not gonna pander here. I could pander very much here and take a certain college football movie, but I'm going to take Varsity Blues.
Damn it. That was the one I was thinking of. And I went Blindside.
That was a top 2 for me.
I'm guessing I know number 1. Love Varsity Blues, especially the teacher scene. Great time.
A very good movie.
It is.
Very strong movie.
And it came out at the perfect time of our lives too. Where that's what we wanted to see.
Yeah, that was strong. I guess I've seen The Blind Side more than that, and that's really why I took it over. But that was the one I was struggling with. It's those 2. Damn it. Varsity
Jim,
Blues and Bull Durham could have been really strong.
He took
the blind
side
over Varsity.
And whatever you're going to take. Which I'm assuming is going to be
It's not going to be the one you're thinking, I don't think it's going to be the one you're thinking of.
Can I just say, if we are going to get ripped if we do not put Rudy on this graphic.
I know, but I'm the only one I still have to pick. And
I know.
Yeah. I know.
I'll say my piece about that.
Which is why I was iffy on the miscellaneous category, being able to go a little more.
Now, just to kind of recap this too, Hoosiers, Miracle, and Varsity Blues. That's a very strong. Very strong. And again, not a big hockey guy, but I did see Miracle actually, and I saw it on a plane ride to Vegas. So there's that. All right. So
thanks for that tidbit of information.
Of course, much needed, very needed perspective on that. All right, I am going to go with basketball. I feel like there's so many ones I want to go with here, though. That's why I waited, because I want you guys to help make my choice for me. So I'm just going to put it out there. You know what? Also stuck on 2. Maybe I should wait. Maybe I should go I hate you all.
Blindside.
I can't believe that was the second overall pick.
Okay.
We just lost all credibility.
For my third pick, round 3, number 2 overall, I'm going to go with I'm going to go above the rim. I'm going to go above the rim. That's it. I was struggling on another one that's really, really good too. But you know what? Above the rim, much better soundtrack. So we'll stick with that one.
So basketball is totally over. We've all.
So you
basketball.
didn't go with He Got Game.
I actually had a couple on here that I would have. I mean, White Men Can't Jump.
Yeah.
And semi-pro.
I had Glory Road on my list, Coach Carter. And Love and Basketball.
Also very good.
I'm a big Glory Road fan.
I mean, I don't want to...
Glory Road, yeah. I don't want to give away my...
Yeah, that's why I was going to say anything, because Jim still has his pick, so... But...
Well, not for basketball, but...
Yeah, but
he picked his basketball, so we're good, right?
Yeah, he picked Space Jam.
Basketball's all done.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, Tyler, that was the one. I couldn't... I was debating between Above the Rim and He Got Game. That's tough.
Kind of assumed. No
all
Jesus Shuttlesworth in here?
I love Jesus Shuttlesworth. And actually, shout out to Ray Allen, who was a former Seattle Sonic. So I did like Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Okay, I'm up. So I'm going to go. I guess I got 2 picks here. These are my last 2 picks. I've got miscellaneous and I have football. I'm going to go. We'll just go ahead and do miscellaneous. I feel like the category for miscellaneous that, like we talked about hockey, but I feel like golf is just super strong.
Yeah.
Like golf movies are great. And I was picking between a couple, and I'm going with Caddyshack.
I'm okay with that. I mean, you could have went Caddyshack. Well, I don't want to.
right.
Be quiet. Gotta be quiet.
Like,
I don't want to give the starters any ideas here.
This whole time we want to talk about this, and we can't.
I mean, just it's absolutely hilarious. Like, and I mean, just the cast is awesome. It's stood the test of time. Great movie, super funny. That brings me to football. And so this is where, like, do I want to go more like the serious? You can pander hard here. Do I want to go more the serious route? Do I want to go Rudy, right? Because, I mean, that's widely considered the best football movie of all time by a lot of people.
Do you want to go to Blindside?
But I'm going to go with...
I'll trade you the Blindside.
I'm going with the Waterboy. Love it. Going with it. So Rudy's going to be left off this list.
Well, fellas, I think I just won the draft.
But I'm going with Waterboy.
I think I win.
We'll see. We'll see what the voters think.
Don't matter.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Jim.
Yeah.
So I'm done. Well, like I said, I could have pandered. I could have gone the popular route. I didn't. I went with what I like. If Rudy or the Waterboy were on TV right now, I would watch the Waterboy.
You know what? I don't hate it just because Rudy's a fraud and he didn't actually have a sack and he was offsides.
Yeah, the whole movie's a lie.
Yeah.
And I
lots
hate
of
Notre
football
Dame.
movies left.
So is The Blind Side, apparently, too.
I fully expected Jim to go with Remember the Titans there.
So that was also on the list. I also have We Are Marshall on there too.
I'll say though, the Waterboy kind of feels. I mean, you have Major League, Space Jam, Caddyshack. It kind of fits the theme you're going with a bit.
Yeah, I went all comedies really. So
a lot of football movies on the board.
I had two. No, let's see. Yeah, no, all comedies for me.
I feel like this could have went like 8 rounds.
Oh, easily. That's why I think it's so tough for me because like I got to pick one.
Yeah, and you picked The Blind Side.
Shut up. So actually, you know what's funny? Ethan just said this on the stream here, and since football's over with, football is over with, right?
Yep.
Tyler, yeah. He said Little Giants, and that was on my list.
Not on mine.
I thought about it.
Would I have been better going off with Little Giants opposed to The Blind Side?
You would have been better off with Little Giants than The Blind Side. See, I just
In
went
round
with
4.
I went with it as like if these movies were on TV at the exact same time, and like which would I tune? Like which would I watch?
Nardo, you would have been better off going with The Replacements.
My list is the Replacements.
You could have went with The Replacements. You could have went Friday Night Lights. You could have went Varsity Blues, to be honest.
He could have gone Varsity. Like that's
could
what I
have went
thought he was going to
Rudy.
do.
You could have went Any Given Sunday.
I feel like I could have went Goofy Learns Football. I saw that was a Disney movie.
You could have went
like
Remember the
40s.
Titans.
All right, back off. Let me finish this. Jeez, get off my nuts. That are nicely trimmed. Anyways, so my last pick. All right, so we're going to go miscellaneous here. Obviously, that's what I'm left with. I'm going to go a different route here. I had to think about it. I was like, is this technically a sports movie? But it is. It's got to be. And I did a little Googling. Yes, Die Hard, right? I did a little Googling, and I saw it on a sports list, so that made me feel a little more comfortable with myself. So I'm going to go with my miscellaneous, and maybe this gives me a little bit of more credibility. It doesn't, because there's also another clear one that should go out there. But I'm going to go with The Karate Kid.
I'll say it's a sports movie.
Okay. Yeah.
It would not have been on my radar, but
No,
it's a sports movie.
And maybe it's just because Cobra Kai is still so fresh into my mind. And watching that brought back a lot of the memories of, The Karate Kid and such. I loved The Karate Kid as a kid. Again, there's another obvious choice I think that's out there that probably will be stated. I don't know. But if I were to choose, I probably would pick The Karate Kid. Not taking away from that other movie, but just, again. So I'm going with The Karate Kid. Is that your pick?
No, my pick. I have baseball left.
Oh, yeah, Rocky.
So we're done with
I feel like
yeah.
if you guys are feeling that it's a travesty that like Rudy was left off, I feel like it's a travesty that Rocky's been left off.
No, I think Rudy's way more of a travesty because miscellaneous is such a large category.
I know, but it's Rocky.
Well, like miscellaneous, I would have put Happy Gilmore over Rocky.
Correct.
Really?
I'm
Actually,
not a huge.
I
Rocky
was thinking
fan.
that was the route you were going, Jim, before you said Caddyshack.
So Happy Gilmore and Caddyshack was what I was debating in between. But since I went Waterboy, I was like, I'm not going to do 2 Adam Sandler movies back to back. I mixed it up.
You should have went with The Longest Yard for football.
There's got to be a... Oh, wait. Isn't Uncut Gems basketball? Was he? Yeah, he was Kevin Garnett's agent or something, right? You should have went all Adam Sandler. What were you thinking?
I should have. Good. I do love Adam Sandler. So.
I hate him.
I guess I got Mr. Irrelevant here.
You do. And it's got to
Again,
be...
can we just remember, Jim?
Baseball, right?
Yes, just remember that we're going to look at this graphic, and the football movies are going to say The Waterboy, Varsity Blues, and The Blind Side.
The Blind Side. It is. Yep, you're right.
Rudy's not on there. The Blind Side is. All right, last pick. I got baseball. I'm going Field of Dreams. It's actually probably my favorite sports movie of all time. But you guys went heavy on baseball early, so I just kept it around in my back pocket. It's my favorite Kevin Costner movie. Although Bull Durham is close.
Kevin Costner is the GOAT of baseball movies.
He's
For the Love of the Game is like actually not bad.
Right.
For Love of the Game is not bad. My thing with Kevin Costner, like he's always in all these baseball movies, but I actually don't like him in the movies. Like I feel like I don't know. I just don't like him. Like, I feel like if there was somebody else playing him in all the movies, they would actually be a better movie.
Interesting.
Something.
Okay. Well, what
Any other
honorable
miscellaneous or any other honorable mentions?
Yeah, I was gonna say what honorable mentions you guys have.
So one of my favorite baseball movies that I didn't list just because there's a lot on there, but 61. I love that movie. Kind of the season, like Roger Maris's home run season, where it's like him and Mantle battling each other out. It's one of my favorite movies, but I did not pick it.
Well, obviously.
Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3.
Yeah, all the Rockies. Man, I gotta say, that's such a good point. How does Rudy not make it in The Blind Side?
The Blind Side does.
That's
because you picked The Blind Side.
You picked Blind Side. Like, you almost forced me to pick Rudy, but I like really didn't want to.
See,
like I have Rudy on my list, but like I didn't want to pick it because it's not my favorite football movie. Like
I've seen Rudy a lot. Yeah. It's not something I really want to sit down and watch though. Like if it's on, I might watch it, but I might also flip past it.
Odds are I'm flipping past it.
So what else did you have, Jim?
Well, I already said We Are Marshall. And the miscellaneous route was very stacked. I didn't really know where to go there, but I mean, Mighty Ducks,
Slapshot.
I did not have Slapshot on there, but that could have been in there. Like Legend of Bagger Vance, good movie. The Greatest Game Ever Played. Like I said, I feel like golf is real strong. You could, and then I said, sticking to the comedy, you could have gone with like Cool Runnings too, like with the Olympic theme. Like that would have been good.
How did I forget that?
I had all those written down.
Blades of Glory.
I didn't have Blades of Glory written down. It's
not really my favorite movie ever.
Yeah.
Very glad that DiNardo went where he went. If DiNardo gets more than 10% of this vote, I will be shocked.
Same. Yeah, some of my miscellaneous I had, like, so for baseball, I did have Moneyball, because I do enjoy that. I just watched that recently as well. Little Big League is actually a show I really enjoyed as a kid. Of course, Sandlot. And Hardball, actually. Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Hardball.
Yeah.
I think it's a very underrated baseball movie. I don't think it gets talked about enough.
What's the little kid that dies that makes me cry every time?
I know, right? What's his name? But right. G.
I haven't seen it in so long that, something like that.
And then
G something.
For football, I did have, of course, as mentioned, Little Giants. I did have Rudy there, but I really didn't want to pick it. And then basketball also had The Air up there. I loved The Air up there with Kevin Bacon.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
The Jim Dalton Shake and Bake. So for the other category, what I really did was I figured you guys might go like the Rocky route, the golf route, stuff like that. So I tried to get something a little more obscure. Again, like the Karate Kid. Other ones I had up there was Talladega Night, Dodgeball.
It's not surprising.
Right. I was like, I'm going to go something.
Talladega Nights up there.
Something a bit off the wall there. So Talladega Nights and Dodgeball were the other two that
Dodgeball. I could have totally gotten behind the Dodgeball pick.
I love Dodgeball.
I didn't even think about it.
Right.
So the Nerd's draft sucked. I did have a question. So is anybody a fan of Remember the Titans? Like a real diehard fan of that movie?
I like the movie, but I did not have it on my list.
I think the movie's cheesy as hell.
It was not in my top 3 or 4 football movies.
Yeah, I didn't have it on mine.
It just seems like every time it's on, people go crazy on Twitter. And I'm like, I don't really like that movie that much. It's too cheesy for me. Like, I think Glory Road did it better.
Yeah, and this is actually was saying before we started here. Glory Road is one of my favorite movies because the University of Kentucky is like the villain in the movie. So that makes me happy because I hate them.
Touche.
Right.
But yeah, good movie.
All I got
Okay,
there.
so we will put our list together. We'll put it up on Twitter tomorrow morning. Check that out. You guys will be able to vote on who has the best list. I think it's a 2-man race. I feel pretty good about Tyler's list. I think if I had money to put on it, it'd probably be Tyler. But definitely not going to be DiNardo.
Anthony Jerkison DiNardo.
All right, so let's move on. Let's talk a little bit of baseball. That was fun. Let's talk a little bit of baseball though. So one piece of Pirates news throughout the week, and it's kind of came out of nowhere, a little surprising. Multiple sources, national media, local media, coming out saying that people are interested in some of our pitchers. So little surprising, right? Because I mean, we did not have a very good pitching staff last year. I guess you could say Brault, had a good year, overperformed his normal, usual self. Musgrove had a good year, so that I understand the interest in him, but interest in Trevor Williams and interest in Chad Kuhl. I mean, what are your takes on that, Tyler?
I mean, I think the Pirates are absolutely bananas if they do not trade Stephen Brault for anything. His value will not be higher. If he ever has a 3.38 ERA ever again, then someone just shoot me in the face because that's not going to happen. Trevor Williams, I don't get any interest in him, really. He's a non-tender candidate. I don't really know why you'd want to trade for him. Chad Kuhl, I do get. The stuff's there. He's almost of the Morton mold where you think the Pirates might be stunning his growth. I know that Tommy John probably held him back from what he could have been this year, but there might be some hope there, but you're also probably selling low on him. But at the same time, what's he really going to add to you next year? I'd rather watch some young arms try to develop. That's where I'm at with it. Trade what you can, get what you can, move on.
Yeah.
Maybe pick up a flyer in free agency and see if you can do it again.
I mean, I'm with you, especially on Stephen Brault. I think if Stephen Brault is getting any type of attention, I think you have to at least listen to see what's out there because, like you mentioned, I don't see his value being higher than it is right now. I mean, he kind of strikes me as someone who, he's a very Jeff Locke type guy, where it's sure he's certainly capable of stringing some decent starts together, but long term, probably not a major league starting pitcher. So yeah, I think if you can get something for him, I think you jump on it because you got to think, is Stephen Brault going to be a part of this team when it's competitive? And the answer to that question is no. Like either he'll be gone by that point, or we will have pitchers who are better than him, right? So like Stephen Brault doesn't have a role on a competitive Pirates team. So I think if people are asking about him, you gotta listen very, very carefully to those offers because I mean he's not really in your future.
I mean, what's the bright side of hanging on to him? Maybe you gotta hope that he matches his performance from this year, and maybe you get more for him next year at the trade deadline. But that's a big risk that I don't know that I'm willing to take for a minuscule increase in return. But I don't really know what they would get for him right now. It would probably be a flyer type of player, but at least that's the way I'd hope they go with him.
And I'll tell you what, like even just for me to add in here as the producer in the background. Hi again, guys. I think I'm with you too.
Blindside sucks.
Like maybe there's more to Stephen Brault than what we've seen in the past. Maybe something better could be out there, and as Tyler alluded to, if he was there for the full season, you get more out of that. But like, is it worth the risk right now for the Pirates to try to do that? Hang on. Like, I just feel almost as if right now, if he's getting value, take it. because how many of these guys have they hung on to and now there's no value and it's depleted and they're hoping to regain something of that. I think it's very easily Stephen Brault could go back to the way he was, or a little bit down tick, and you're still you're hoping to get this at least the same value. And I think the risk is too great if you're getting something of really anything of some help for the future. I think you take that right now. Yeah, it's possible next year, he maybe reinvents himself. He's using a better role, throughout the rest of his career and makes him look as if he's a better pitcher and there could be more value in return. But why risk that right now when so many people out there are complete lowest as far as trade value goes?
Yeah, and I think that really goes for everybody who's being talked about right now. Like, I think Joe Musgrove is probably your best trade chip that you may have. And again, ask yourself, is Joe Musgrove going to be a part of a competitive Pirates team? And again, this Pirates team is in no shape to be competitive in 2021 or 2022. I think you're looking at a window that maybe, where 2023, the team, maybe starts looking good if all things go well. 2024 is kind of your start of your window, right? And by that point, Joe Musgrove's gone, right? So I think, his value is high right now because of the years of control. I said it's going to be beneficial for this Pirates team to actually just suck for a year or two. Like, we've seen that strategy work. Like, it's going to be better off if we get a first or second overall pick for 2 or 3 years in a row, as opposed to, maybe finishing 23rd or 24th in baseball these next 2 years. So, I mean, as much as it sucks as a fan, because obviously we want to see this team perform well and be fun. And if we trade away anybody who's, worth being on a major league roster, it's going to be a rough couple of years. But I think it's just kind of the way that they have to go with the way their organization is right now, because they need to find a way to stockpile talent. And the way to do that is to trade away the chips that you have, and then, for talent, and then load up on some talent in the draft. So I trade everybody. Like, if anybody, I think you trade everybody.
Yeah. I mean, there's maybe 1 or 2 guys you're not trading right now.
Yeah.
At least listening on.
I think Brian Hayes is obviously untouchable.
Hayes and Keller.
Yeah. Hayes, Keller, agreed. And I think Reynolds, to a point,
I'd listen.
I would have to be blown away though. Like, I would have to get more than what I would have to get above his value. I don't think anybody's going to give up for Reynolds what he's going to be worth to this team,
especially right now.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a guy that I'd be moving. But really, I'm listening on everybody else.
Yep, Newman, Tucker. I don't think anyone's giving anything up for him, but
right.
You want a utility guy? Let's see what we can get. I mean,
right.
Newman, especially, what is he, 26, 27 now? I think he's the same age as me, actually.
Newman is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was a college first-round pick. He's 3-4 years.
We told the joke in the chat about Will Craig.
Right.
30-year-old prospect.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, Newman is 27. Newman is 27 already.
So, I mean, he's technically in his prime.
Yeah.
And he is
who he is.
A year and a half.
Yep.
What a sad life. I mean, hey. Matt Carpenter was 27 when he came up, maybe. Maybe something will break our way.
I mean, it happens every now and then. But yeah. Do you know who the most similar player to Kevin Newman has been, based on?
Give me a position here.
Shortstop. Actually, I don't even. You probably wouldn't know this guy, but I mean, who's on this list? Like Mark Grudzielanek. That's on this list. Like, he's. I guess Mark Grudzielanek. Yeah, he wasn't good, but he played for a while on crappy Expos teams. But yeah, I don't. Mark Grudzielanek
Kevin Newman would
played
be a good
15
shortstop
years in the
if
major
it was
leagues.
10
My
years ago.
gosh. Yeah, you're right. No, and I think in more than 10 years. I think we have to go probably back to like the 90s. But
I don't know.
That's who
Because
your
there was a point in
shortstops
time where Jordy Mercer was a top 5 offensive shortstop.
I don't know how.
So I mean, like, it changed real quick. It almost changed overnight.
I feel like there's been phases because there was a stretch there too where even
like
20
Nomar.
years ago you had Nomar. A-Rod was a shortstop.
Yeah.
You had Nomar, A-Rod. Jeter was. I know we say he's overrated, but I mean Jeter was first ballot Hall of Famer. So I think it just kind of, like I say, it goes through phases.
Yeah, but we went through a phase where it was like it was the that Royal shortstop. I can't even remember the Danny Echeverrias of the world were good.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. But yeah, that was kind of interesting this week. That tweet, I think it was John Heyman who first tweeted it, and then Mackey tweeted something as well. So something to keep an eye on. And if something happens. I do expect there to be something this offseason.
You would hope so.
Like I said, that this team is in no position to compete, and they need to stockpile some talent. So I think they need to do something this offseason to do that. And like I said, they did one thing last offseason with the Marte trade. I like their return in that deal. So I think we see something kind of similar to that, where we get some fringe top 100 prospect candidates that can hopefully develop.
And at the very least, it's going to be a fire sale at the deadline next year.
Hopefully.
Josh Bell, Polanco, whoever.
If they're playing well.
I mean, I think either way, it's no reason to keep him. Then again, Josh Bell's like the same age as Will Craig, so what are you doing? Is he blocking a guy the same age as him?
Yeah, I mean, at some point, and then they said something too about they were open to talking to Bell about an extension. And I'm just like, how? Why would you do that? He hasn't shown that he can consistently hit. So it'll be an interesting offseason. Hopefully, stuff starts to happen here once we move into winter meetings and arbitration deadlines. We'll find out non-tender candidates here shortly as well. So that'll all be in the news here soon.
Chris Bryant, non-tender candidate.
That would shock me.
Is that the dumbest thing you've ever read?
Me. Yeah, I don't think that happens. How much?
They're broke though. The Cubs are broke.
How much crap would the Cubs fans just like? They would lose their minds if
they'd become White Sox fans.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I can't see it happening.
No, that was the dumbest thing I've ever read in my life.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on all those trade rumors?
Sell them all. Get what you can.
Sell them all.
Let's go back to 2008.
All right. Last thing we wanted to talk about today, a little bit more baseball. Hall of Fame ballot came out. So the 2021 official Hall of Fame ballot came out. I'm looking over it. I think what's interesting is for the first time really ever, and there's been a lot of stories about Aramis Ramirez and AJ Burnett being on the ballot, but I mean, we can talk about them a little bit. Neither of them have a shot at being Hall of Famers. No. So I just want to get that opinion of mine out of the way. But I think for the first time that I can think of in a while, like there's no one on this list that I think is a Hall of Famer, like first ballot guys. I don't know. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, maybe like Torrey Hunter is probably your best first ballot candidate here. And I can't see it happening. He was elite defensively, but he wasn't a great hitter. He was above average as a hitter. He did play for 19 years.
Yeah, I'm going to take this off the rail for 1 second because we
Okay.
just talked about Aramis Ramirez. You know who should be a Hall of Famer?
Who?
The guy that Aramis Ramirez was traded with.
Kenny Lofton.
The fact that he is not in the Hall of Fame is a travesty, considering he has the same, if not better, numbers than Ichiro. And yes, I'm an Ichiro hater, but compare their numbers. Kenny Lofton is a Hall of Famer when you put him side by side with Ichiro.
So Lofton, obviously not on the ballot any longer.
No, it's a travesty because Ichiro sucked. Don't care.
So
He hit 1 year. Good for him. Compare their numbers.
Disagree.
Let me know.
I'm going to disagree with Ichiro sucking.
Okay, sucking's a little extreme.
I think Ichiro's, one of the best contact hitters.
Oh, good for him.
Of our entire generation.
Look at their numbers. Someone tell me why Kenny Lofton is not in the Hall of Fame when you compare him with Ichiro. Because Ichiro put together all the counting stats. Who cares?
So Ichiro also started like way later. I mean, Ichiro put up all the counting stats, and he started 3 years after Lofton.
And
he was just better.
No, look at their numbers. Compare them.
I am comparing them. I mean, Ichiro's batting average hit a career 311 average. Kenny Lofton.
Donato, why do we have a guy on here that's using batting average?
Hold on. Let's go with OPS plus. They were identical. OPS plus, they're identical.
One guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Kenny Lofton.
One guy is off the ballot.
Kenny Lofton actually had a higher WAR than Ichiro. No, so here's the thing. I think Kenny Lofton is a Hall of Famer, so I'm not going to argue with that. I think Ichiro is better.
Based upon what?
Based on just his whole body of work.
Oh, he came over at 27 because he played in Japan. Whoa.
If Ichiro would have came over at 21, he would have had 4,000 hits.
I don't care.
That hasn't been done in a really long time.
Yeah, he played for 50 years.
He would have played for 50 years.
Yeah, and hit 150 for his last 20, like he did.
He hit 322 as a 38-year-old. So,
what was this WRC plus? 78?
I'm looking at Baseball Reference, so I don't have the WRC.
Okay, OPS plus 74.
OPS plus was 113.
As a 38-year-old.
As a 38-year-old.
Oh,
for the
OPS
Yankees.
plus sucks. Who cares?
I'm also looking at a half season, apparently.
Well, there we go.
But no, okay.
I was also the guy that was selfish.
So we're getting off track here. I thought you hated.
Yes, I told you I was taking us off the rails.
I thought you hated Cleveland, by the way. So shouldn't that
Kenny Lofton's a Pirate. I would put him in the Hall of Fame as a Pirate.
He played 84 games with the Pirates.
Exactly.
And he wasn't even good. He wasn't even good.
I don't care about his 90 WRC plus.
It's one of his worst seasons.
I don't care.
Okay, so here's the thing. I agree. Kenny Lofton should be in the
field.
Hall of Fame. I think Kenny Lofton should be in the Hall of Fame. All right.
I'm just glad that I can take us off track every week now.
Yeah, you took us way off track. So he's not on the ballot.
I did it last week with Rendon. I'm going to do this every week.
So how about this then? So to kind of fit in that defensive center fielder mode there, he's on his fourth ballot. Last year, he got 19% of the votes. Andrew Jones. Thoughts on him? Very similar numbers WAR-wise to Lofton. Hit for more power.
See, here's the thing. I am arguing that Kenny Lofton should be a Hall of Famer because Ichiro is. Ichiro has the stature. Ichiro does not have the numbers.
Okay.
I'm
talking about Andrew Jones. 10-time Gold Glove winner.
But it all goes back to Ichiro here because you compared him to Kenny Lofton, who I compared to Ichiro.
Okay. So if Ichiro is a Hall of Famer, and you think Kenny Lofton is a Hall of Famer.
No, I'm saying if Ichiro is a Hall of Famer, then Kenny Lofton is a Hall of Famer. I don't believe Ichiro is a Hall of Famer. But if Ichiro is a Hall of Famer, yes. Big circle, yes.
So if you're saying yes or no to Andre Jones,
Yes.
Bernardo,
If
Andre
they're all
Jones,
saying
yes or no?
Ichiro is. Mic drop.
I'm just saying right now, like, do you think Andre Jones should be in the Hall of Fame? Yes or no?
Based upon the precedent that has been set by letting Ichiro in the Hall of Fame, yes.
Okay. Bernardo, thoughts on Andre Jones?
You guys make me weigh in. I don't have the numbers of Jones in front of me, even though I'm sure I had this argument. But to weigh in on what Tyler said, we had this argument, I feel like, a few times on Donato's Dugout.
Yeah.
So
right.
I get where Tyler's coming from. I myself, I'm still with you, Jim. Like, I would put Ichiro in the Hall of Fame because of what he did. Even though what his skill set was, you know, like, he doesn't have the weighted run created plus, but he was just the best, as you mentioned, contact hitter in the game, period. The guy was a hit machine. You know, he's a Hall of Famer. But Tyler makes a very good point that when you compare them and like what Lofton did do, technically speaking, he was more valuable than Ichiro. But again, without having like Jones' numbers in front of me, I don't want to make an argument.
Mike Jones, 281-330-8204.
Yes. Mike Jones. He should be on Versus tonight. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say anything on record right now without the numbers in front of me, but I do want to validate Tyler's argument. I can back that up, even though I do agree Ichiro should be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, so Andre Jones. Let me
So I got
talk
us off
about
track
this.
to talk about Kenny Lofton.
Let's talk about Andre Jones from 98 to 2006.
Probably
All
averaged
right.
like 6.5 WAR.
He went 7, 6.9, 7.7, 4.9, 6.3, 5.2, 5.3, 7.9, 6.0. That's a stretch of what did we just go over? 9 seasons where he was all-star to top 5 MVP caliber player in baseball consistently.
He's almost on Brian Giles level.
And if you look at these numbers, like the Gold Gloves, obviously we know about him, and this was before there were really some defensive metrics for us to look at. But defensive metrics, first off, love Andre Jones. As I said, we already said 10-time Gold Glove winner. He's someone who, like I said, this is his 4th time on the ballot. He only got 19.4% of the votes last time. If I had a vote, I'm putting him in the Hall of Fame.
All right, we're on the same page. All
right.
And was that before the 41 and 51 home run seasons?
You know what? Good question.
I mean,
so that was right. This 51 and 41 were his last two. Was his last two seasons?
But we're talking about a guy with 434 career home runs.
434 career home runs.
Good luck with this brain here.
And 10 Gold Gloves.
I definitely didn't just look it up.
So
yeah,
that's it.
434 probably puts you in at least the Hall of very, very fair, very good, close, at the very least.
Mm-hmm. I think once you add it in with the glove,
yeah,
that's what does it for him. But yeah, looking at the rest of this list, I mean, some guys who have been on here a while. This is Curt Schilling's 9th year on the ballot. I know that we all hate Curt Schilling. He's just
annoying.
He's basically a Nazi at this point. So it's like, do you want to reward that? But at the same time, if we're talking about baseball, it's hard for me to say, if we're talking about baseball, Curt Schilling should be in the Hall of Fame.
But if we're talking about baseball,
I don't want
to get much deeper into it, but if we're talking about baseball, he's 20th on the list of guys that deserve to be in if we're just talking about baseball, not steroids.
So, I mean, steroids goes into this whole conversation too. Yep. So Clemens and Bonds also both in their 9th year. They
just keep creeping up, though.
Put them in.
Creeping up. Schilling was 70% last ballot. Clemens was 61. Bonds was 60.7. But I don't know if I don't know if any of them get in this time. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't think Schilling gets in.
Does anybody get in?
So that's the question. Does anybody get in?
AJ Burnett.
I think someone who probably deserves it, who hasn't gotten a ton of love, is Scott Rowland. Scott Rowland deserves to be in.
I haven't looked at his career numbers.
This is his fourth time on the ballot. First off, there's something about Hall of Fame voters just for some reason they hate third basemen. I don't get it.
Yeah.
There's like 5 or 6 third basemen in the Hall of Fame in the last 50 years. But Scott Rowland, 8-time Gold Glove winner, 7-time All-Star, 70 WAR, put up a 70 WAR. If we're going like kind of all time, let's look at this. Where does Scott Rowland rank all time among third basemen? I'm interested.
I think if you just look at it like objectively, he was probably the best third baseman at one point in his career.
Yeah.
So,
here, see if I can find this.
I'd assume he's probably like top 20 third baseman at least. Top 15 maybe.
Like I want to say, like, because Chipper Jones was a first ballot Hall of Famer, right?
Right.
I want to say that that Rowland is like the numbers are very similar. So Chipper 85 career WAR, Rowland had 70. But if we look at the Hall of Famers that third baseman Hall of Famers, right? Scott Rowland currently has the highest career WAR of any third baseman not in the Hall of Fame. Okay, he's more than Jimmy Collins, John McGraw, some of these older guys.
Yeah, WAR's a little tough to judge though with that.
But like Scott Rowland, basically, he's right in between Paul Molitor, Hall of Famer, and Edgar Martinez, Hall of Famer. Martinez was a DH for a lot of his career, but he played third the first half of it. So Scott Rowland ranks 10th all time among third basemen in WAR.
Okay, so a lot higher than I thought. So yeah, probably should get more love.
I think so. I think that's someone who deserves to get in, who hasn't really gotten a lot of love.
Scott Rowland, Kenny Lofton.
So if I'm putting a ballot together, I'm going Andre Jones. I'm going Scott Rowland. I'm going Barry Bonds. I'm going Roger Clemens. I'm putting Curt Schilling on it. You won't find a bigger Omar Vizquel fan than me, but I'm not putting him on it.
No, I couldn't hit.
I'm probably putting Manny Ramirez on it. I'm putting Manny Ramirez on it. Putting Andy Pettitte on it.
God, whenever they finally decide to just let the steroid users in, it's just going to be a waterfall.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And then you even look like Gary Sheffield. Gary Sheffield's on the ballot. Like another guy. He had 500. How many homers did he hit? 509 home runs, 140 OPS plus. The guy raked. Like he was good. Todd Helton too, another guy who probably should be in eventually. I'm not a big fan of really any of these first ballot guys. I'm probably not voting for any of them.
What about Billy Wagner? We giving him some love?
So Billy Wagner's interesting because
he's not a Lastings Millage fan.
But like, I think if you put someone like let's compare Billy Wagner and Trevor Hoffman. I just want to look at this.
Billy Wagner. What did he put in Lastings Millage's locker? Stay in your lane, Rook. Something like that.
Is that what he put in there?
I believe so. It's been a while since I read about that, but
so I know WAR for relief pitchers. I mean, I don't know how much we want to use it, but they're basically identical, Hoffman and Wagner. So that's one thing there. We all know Hoffman 601 career saves. Billy Wagner had 422. Hoffman just did it a lot longer. Hoffman pitched till he was 42. Wagner was done basically at 38. And at 38, he put up a 1.43 earned run average and saved 37 games. I think if you're letting relievers in, was there a more dominant lefty reliever? We're taking Randy Johnson out of the mix here, but was there a more dominant lefty during the late 90s and that first decade of the 2000s than Billy Wagner?
No, because I think he was the one dude that defied the, I guess you want your closest to be a right-handed reliever because you want to save your lefties for loogie rolls.
Yeah. So I think if we're letting in closers, I think you let in Billy Wagner. Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
I'm all for that too, by the way. I'm on the get Billy Wagner in train.
Yeah. I'm in that too. But yeah, the first ballot class, I'm not feeling it. Just not feeling it. Like I said, I know there's been a lot of stories about Burnett and Ramirez, but neither of them have a shot. AJ Burnett barely had an ERA under 4 for his career. That's just not good enough. Aramis Ramirez was fine, but again, if we're talking about third baseman, Scott Rowland has double the career WAR that Aramis Ramirez has, double. So he's not even in the conversation, really.
Just back to Billy Wagner real quick. You realize in 1999, he had a K rate. He struck out 43.4% of the batters. And ended up with, as a reliever, a 3.6 WAR. Think about that.
Yeah. No, I mean he was nasty, and and that was in the time. I mean, the Astros were in the NL Central, so we saw a lot of Billy Wagner, right? Those late '90s, especially like '97. I mean, '97 season. The Freak Show. It came down to the Pirates and Astros really that year. So like I said, we saw Wagner a lot throughout his first decade in the majors. And he was good. He got MVP votes that year in '99. Finished 4th in the Cy Young.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm cool with that too. But that's pretty much my thoughts on there. I'm cool. I feel like there's a lot of players who should be in that aren't. I don't know if I've even named. You can vote for 10 people. Is that right? 10 people. So if I were to vote, Schilling 1, Clemens, Bonds, Rowland, Wagner, Sheffield, Helton, Manny, Jones, Pettit. There's my 10. That would be my ballot.
That high.
That would be my ballot.
Didn't know Kentucky folk could count that high.
That ACC education.
At least you didn't draft blindside.
Anybody else with some thoughts on Hall of Fame? Or are we done with that?
I got my thoughts out. Kenny Lofton, Hall of Famer. All you need to know.
DiNardo.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good. That's that basically sums up where I'm at. And you know what? If you want to get Kenny Lofton in the Hall of Fame, let's do it. With the Pirates hat, of course.
Let's do it. Exactly.
Let's do it. Let's start Kenny Lofton for Hall of Fame, Veterans Committee, in a Pirates hat.
Kenny Lofton, Hall of Fame. Anthony Rendon, most underrated baseball player in the league.
There we go. Create a whole statue for Rendon.
I'm sure in 2 weeks I'll have a new thought that I derail the show with.
There you go. All right. Well, we've been on here for a little bit more than an hour. I think we hit up all of our topics. So, again, tomorrow we'll put the Mount Rushmores up, our sports movies, and we'll put it to a vote. Definitely won't be DiNardo, but we'll see who wins.
Thanks, guys.
But thanks for tuning in. We'll be back on, I guess, Tuesday, DiNardo?
Yeah, I should be on Tuesday.
next Thursday is Thanksgiving, so we will not have an NS9 Live next Thursday, but we will be back the following week. And that's probably going to be a Jeopardy week, isn't it?
No, it's in December. I think it's going to be the week after.
Okay. So we'll have one more.
Which, by the way, I guess, yeah, we got
one more episode. Yeah, one more episode, and then we'll do an NS9 Jeopardy in December. But that's all I got.
I'm all good.
See you guys. Yeah. See you guys later.
Peace out, Scouts.